position down the stretch here after coming back from an injury in mid-January. So we're underway here. The Panthers in their home whites for the second half of the season, going right to left if you're listening on the radio across your dial. And the North York Rangers in the New York Rangers looking jerseys in the blue with the red trim going left to right. Stretch pass ahead here nearly worked for Hunt, but he had to knock it down with a high stick. And the Panthers gain control in their own zone. Tiger McDonald out here with Robert Clark and John Hudgen, his usual line mates to start this game off for the Panthers. Just dumps it in and peels off for a change. Stretch pass ahead here for the captain, Zabo of the Rangers. He loses control of it to Gentles. And then behind his own net is Mitch Waldron. Plays ahead to Dallas Carter. He'll skate through center ice here, backhanded down in the zone. After there is the call-up tonight for the Panthers. That's Daniel Lowe. Chases after behind the net, but North York clears to center ice. Panthers have one more game to go. It's tomorrow night on the road. Play the Toronto Junior Canadiens at Scotiabank Pond. And we have a stoppage here inside the North York zone.
Also, wrap up our opening blurb on the goaltenders. Their stats coming in tonight. Troy Paquette, 20 games played so far for Pickering. A 6-12-1 record of .364 goals against, .886 save percentage. And on the other end of the ice, Baguetta, 37 games played, 14-9-1 record, and the goals against just a notch above .290.
His stats in that season where he got the goaltender of the year in Junior C at .922 save percentage, 2.92 goals against. That's pretty good in a very high-scoring league out there. Kyle Gentles gets center ice, dumps it deep here for the Panthers. Panthers out of playoff contention in the Northeast, have been for a couple weeks. North York Rangers right in the thick of it in the Southwest. And they have something at stake here as they try to stay ahead of the Toronto Junior Canadiens. They're coming into this game deadlocked with them for that fifth place spot in the Southwest. They have the tiebreaker if they finish with 66 points or with 68 or even with 67 if they both pick up points. Funnily enough, the Panthers play the Junior Canadiens in their final game tomorrow night. So the Panthers have a role in this Southwest Conference playoff positioning battle. They can affect it in any way they please, you might say. The Rangers, if the win here tonight, can lock up fifth place in the conference. Doug Carter inside the Rangers zone, backhands it back to the point, but that misses Mackenzie Heber and goes the length of the ice onto his own goaltender. Paquette plays it, but just gives it away as hardened on the forecheck was Chris Sekelic, the former Panther. Robert Clark at center ice stumps it in as he crosses the red line. Tiger McDonald on the forecheck wins it free for Hudgen, who centers through Clark's legs to Chalice off the bench. He shot it high. Rangers fail to clear as the stanchion gets in the way. Panthers have possession again, but stolen away from Tiger McDonald. Chopping up the boards here, Tyler Curry, the veteran OJHL defenseman, plays it out to center, now into the zone for the Rangers. Clark comes away with it again for the Panthers, chips it by his man into the Rangers zone. Long shift for this top line of the Panthers. Now here's Curry away through center ice. Kept to the outside looking for a centering pass. That was blocked by Hudgen. Taken away by Chalice. He waits, reverses it, has his defenseman with him. That's Hinsenberg. So that's just got the middle to Hudgen, but again, Hudgen misses his man McDonald. Turned over again. Into the zone comes Keegan Blasby, and his shot gets tipped up into the netting. Face off inside the Panthers zone.
Well, back on the other side of the ice there. Nice play by Kyler Chalice coming off the bench. That puck makes its way through the center of the ice. No puck handling there, no big wind-up, just a quick shot trying to catch that goalie off guard. A nice thinking there. It's not always the hardest shots, but sometimes the opportune ones that find the back of the net.
Well, the big news today, the Panthers announcing a press conference on March 14th to announce the new coaching staff, as well as reveals the new jerseys. We saw the logo last week. Andrew Hughes off the rush here now as the blocker stop was in behind the net, and that should be an interesting time as the three men behind the bench tonight for the Panthers will not be there next year. All three of them still with the franchise in some way. Of course, Director of Hockey Operations Steve Sardellis sort of behind a lot of these moves, but he will not be behind the bench next year, as was never his intention when he took over here with Pickering in January.
Alex, a new logo. We got to look at it. It is sleek, good looking, not unlike a certain other Panthers team out there.
Some similarities to a third jersey, the Florida Panthers, for sure. I heard some rumor. You take a look at the color schemes of that, you see it's definitely not going to be the same as it is now with the white, stark red, and the black. It's more like some maroons and blues going on. This one floated high into the air by the Rangers. That could be a second straight icing call. They wanted to change, but they won't get it as Campoli tried to sneak off the ice, but the linesman alertly there to keep him on.
I have always liked that, though, Alex. If your team name's going to be modeled after an NHL franchise, well, why not mirror it a little bit with your look as well? We see a prime example with the North York Rangers right here. Heck, even the North York aspect. I know PA announcing in the past the OJHL, you're tempted to say New York from time to time.
Absolutely.
So the Pickering Panthers, why not go after what's a young, exciting Florida Panthers team? Heck, well, that mirrors the Pickering Panthers these days.
Certainly does. A little talent from the Durham region as well.
Not sure how much of that Florida talent's from Durham, but nonetheless.
Or Florida talent's from Florida. I would wager to say none.
Jaromir Jagr's not born and bred?
Gladno, Czech Republic, if I'm not mistaken. The Rangers have it out here at center ice. They'll dump it down the zone. And there's another example of that, Tyler. You're right, the Buffalo Junior Sabres. However, there is a bit of a formal agreement involved there with Buffalo playing at the Harbor Center, or just beside the Harbor, the First Niagara Center in the Harbor Center. And it's all sort of one large organization that works together for the hockey in Buffalo. And whereas I'm sure North York and New York don't have much of a relationship. This shot on Paquette now. There's a rebound, but it's kicked wide of the net. The net flies off its moorings. It's halfway into the other corner.
Well, you saw Ryan Hunt, I believe that was, hard with the shoulder into that side post of the net. And, even though the nets do move easily from time to time, it still hurts when you hit it with blunt force like that. Hunt certainly wasn't happy after the collision.
Yeah, Paquette was shaking his head too. He didn't appreciate his water bottle getting knocked off the net. He's supposed to get it in the far corner. Goalies, the only time they want someone else to touch their water bottle is when they forget it on the bench, and they're calling for it from the far end during the second period when it's a long change, and no one notices them until about 5 minutes into the period. Saw that happen this year with Pickering, actually, once.
Well, then you see hockey players doing their best impression of a curling player.
Yeah. With
mixed results.
Meantime, we should mention Sean Tessier is over there in the penalty box for the North York Rangers. He picked up a warm-up misconduct. Illegal equipment. I believe that's probably for his helmets. A lot of requirements taking off your helmet during the anthem or without a chin strap done up. A lot of these players will get burned, and it wastes about a sixth of your game. Daniel Lowe, the Toronto Red Wings midget AAA call-up here for the Panthers. He has his stick lifted at center ice, but keeps in the battle. Rangers turn it eventually. Here's Graydon Goschuk, and that's shot up again, tipped. Oh, that went over top of the netting and slams around in the cement in behind the net here at the Pickering Red Complex.
And Alex, well, you mentioned earlier, Chris Sekelic returning to the den here for the first time as a North York Ranger. Tremendous season, 57 points in 50 games.
We got 1 year of junior eligibility left too. See where he ends up after the offseason. John Hudgen behind his own net here, will skate right through the middle of his own zone. Has McDonald with him and decides to just chip it by him and get it deep. 14 minutes to play here in the first period, no score. Kevin Ugin holds it in at the line. His shot is blocked on its way through. He just tried to chip it towards the net. It was blocked by Joshua Dame, and he floats it out to center ice. Gets it back. Dame enters the Panthers zone. Clark steals it. Plays it off the glass. Makes sure it gets out. And North York has it at their own blue line. Zabo shoots it in, but Paquette slid out. Got a glove on it. Knocked it down for Mackenzie Heber. And now shot out by Kevin Ugin. Spinning at center ice, Josh Dam again. Doug Carter can't win it for the Panthers. It pings around the neutral zone, then it gets inside the line. Bounces back out to center. Chalice has it stripped and dumped down into Panthers territory. And neither team really want to take huge chances in this game. Neither team has much to lose, but North York, certainly no reason to take gambles. Just play a safe road game here and try to come away with a point.